Megovanen everyone, and welcome to a showcase video. Is showcase the right word for it? I guess so. This caught my eye. I was thinking about what game I wanted to let's play. Just either I was gonna do Daggerfall or something, which that's back on the table, by the way, guys. So I'm, at a regular or at the very least semi-regular, let's play. It will be coming out on a semi-regular basis at the very least. I want to say I'll try to shoot for every week, once a week. Otherwise, it would be once every 2 weeks, or maybe I might alternate. Maybe I'll, 1 week it would be twice a week, and then the following, skip I don't know. I don't want to go too much into that, but the point is, it is back on the table, of course, along with Morrowind. So I was thinking maybe I would do one of those, or maybe do a Lord of the Rings online video, maybe do Ms. Pac-Man again. But then I saw this: The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt gets a free next-gen update on December 14th. So I want to check that out. I also wanted to preface something here, because I feel as if maybe there might still be some lingering people, maybe even just one lingering person that may not be understanding. And this is something that I really feel that I need to clarify yet again. And it really seemed like there was maybe only one person that didn't quite get me, didn't quite get it. And when I label this this video, I'm not gonna put anything to really draw attention to this topic, and I don't want to make it too long, but who knows, it might still kind of go on for a bit. I just want to say that about the whole woke and inclusion stuff. Now, maybe I'm not understanding exactly the definition of woke. I will say this. Okay, maybe I better rephrase this. I'm okay with woke stuff, if by woke you mean like inclusion, inclusion. What else could it possibly mean? Just inclusion kind of thing, and accepting of all races and sexes and stuff like that. If by definition is that, then I'm for it. I want to delve into a little history. Oh, actually, before I delve into that, see, sometimes my mind, it jumps around, and I'm like skipping chapters, and okay, if by woke you mean that what I'm not for is it being force-fed to us, to the people, and having it take precedence over story of a film or of a series, and just everything being shoved in our face is what I'm saying, being force-fed. Because to me, as far as I can remember, going back to as a wee child, the woke stuff, although there was not a name for it before, but let's label it, because we're using this as a label now, let's label woke. To me, the woke stuff, for me in any case, and really I feel has always existed. And I think people are getting a bit confused about that, or forgive me again, sometimes I have a hard time conveying my thoughts, finding the right words to say. It's I'm that's I struggle with that, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not proud of that, but what can I say? And and sometimes I lose my train of thought now. It's getting worse and worse. But to me, it's always been there. And what I think the reason why people think it hasn't been is because everyone the woke stuff and the sensitivity, becoming highly sensitive to everything, and not having a thick skin goes hand in hand. And because people have become super sensitive about everything, they're not tough anymore. Like every little thing is they're offended by it. I guess layman's terms is they've become pussies. We've become pussies. Um, we don't see. We think that in the past that was not considered woke stuff. You know, if that kind of makes sense. Let me explain. I remember even back in elementary school, second, third, fourth, fifth grade, all that. There was Ron Reeves, and he was a black kid, black dude, very cool. He was my friend, and he never suffered from any kind of prejudice or racism or anything like that. To me, racism is something that's existed a long time, okay? And sure, there's still racism then, racism now, right? But it's not like back in the, let's say, 30s, 40s, 50s, or of course, during the slave days, and not just with the black people, but, with pretty much anyone who's not white, Asian people, and the Chinese and stuff, building the railroads and stuff like that. I'm not referring to that stuff. I'm more of just talking about from my generation, really, and probably a lot of you folks out there too, from like 80s, 90s. There's always racism, but the difference is it's not dominating. You have racist people out there, right? Fine, just fuck them, ignore them. But it was never, that we had blacks, Indians, Chinese, and me. I'm just little Asian kid there in elementary school, and it was, we were all bullied at one point, and then it stopped. We stand up for ourselves at a certain point. It's happened to a lot of people, even the white people, get bullied. So I don't see what the issue is. This is just the circle of life, or whatever you call it, a part of growing up, and that's happens to us all. It doesn't matter about race or anything like that. Murtuza Saluddin was my best friend at the time, and there was Shiraz Uddin, Sister Saima Farouk, which was the brother, but although those two weren't in the same grade, but I brought them up because they became my friends. There was a couple. Farah was one Indian girl, and I can't remember the other. It began with an S, but I can't remember. Later on in sixth grade, it was Derek Loving, another black dude, and everyone was cool with each other. It was more of what separated it was like cool kids and not cool kids kind of thing, but not a race thing. So that's what I'm driving at, So for me, everything was just a natural thing, and the commercials on TV, the shows, I love the A-Team. We had B.A. Baracus, you have Boy George, and there was the episode where Boy George guest starred in it. So it, to me, I never saw any kind of oppression from that, like how the reasoning for the now, how they're saying that, oh, now we're trying to push all this, and people are having discussions about that. Well, now we're showing a lot of interracial couples and more people of color, as they say, in things. But for me, these are things that have always existed, but they're making it out as if, well, it didn't exist enough to me, it was just a perfect fine balance. If there's something that calls for a black actor, we had Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, you know, uh, Wesley Snipes in Passenger 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 57, I think it was, with Bruce Payne, was it, as the bad guy, you know, and now it's always existed, but what they're doing now is, for their shows and their films, they're now changing races to be something different than what it's like. If it's supposed to be a white character, they'll maybe change them Chinese, or if it's supposed to be Chinese, then they're going to turn them Indian, or a white to a black, just something, anything to alter the story from its original content, just for the fact of showing, hey, this is, we're woke now, we're all about the inclusion. Well, I'm all about the inclusion as well, but it's always been there. To me, the inclusion has always been there. So I don't understand all this forcefulness, of trying to shove it in our faces. And that is all I'm saying, When they do what they're doing, it changes the historical accuracy of things, So, for example, say we're watching a period piece film, and they're treating the Asians and the blacks, because they have characters in there, that are Asian, black, or, a minority race, and they put them on equal ground, but in reality, and I hope I'm making sense, in reality, in those days, in the 30s, the 40s, and even older, they weren't like that. They weren't equal ground. They were just doing, it's like become a play. They're no longer, see, when you have a play, when I did Mary Poppins in elementary school, 6th grade, we had Derek Loving as Bert, the black kid, cool, and that's fine, you can have, because, in the school play, all races come together, and they can play, it doesn't have to be a white person playing a white part, that kind of thing. They're treating films in that same manner, but I feel as if that's different, because this is cinema, and we need to get accuracy. So I really feel as if they need to cast people that were representative of the times. So, for example, if like, okay, let's take Blade, for example. It is not a historical piece, but I'm just saying, they shouldn't turn Blade white. They didn't, but I'm just saying that as an example, that there's no need for that. I would be absolutely upset if they got a white guy to play Blade, or a Chinese guy to play Blade. Shang-Chi, suddenly they changed his race to be, although Shang-Chi is one of the newer waves of films to come out. So, if they turned him into a woman suddenly, and not only a woman, but now suddenly Shang-Chi is, let's say, a Mexican woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when they're doing that, they mess with the historical accuracy of things. They should just keep things normal, not normal, but accurate, and keep things the way they've always been, the natural amount of exposure, because they've always had exposure all the time, and that's another thing. And this is, if you really look at, the 80s, 90s, it's just, now they're overdosing it too much. It's making it seem like it wasn't enough back then. Does that make sense? Those are my thoughts, I'm all for the inclusion, of course, I love it, but just the way it's always been. No need to force feed it, or to overdose on it, like they've been doing, because they have been overdosing on it. Just look around you, look at everything. If you open your eyes and look at everything, look at everything on TV, and you'll see it. It's cool, but to me, what they're trying to shove down our throats We get it already. I already got it a long time ago in elementary school. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like this is, the 1800s or 1700s or anything like that, where there's true like racism and slave day stuff. So that's all I'm trying to say. And I know still there's going to be people out there that are going to take it the wrong way, and then suddenly, oh no, he's a racist. This guy, they're going to take it the wrong way, and there's nothing I can do about that. As I explained, I have a hard time trying to come up with the right words to explain what I'm going to say. I've never been a great speaker. I've said it time and time again, all the time. I'm just not so good at that, but I'm trying my best. But so for me, I feel that and that's another thing. I think that we've become so sensitive that we can't say things like what we used to in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, like the way we were able to speak back then among our friends. Certain things we were able to say. When you're with your friends, you joke around, and there's certain words you can't use anymore. If you've seen movies like the one with Rebel Wilson, I forgot the name of it now, but I think it's called Senior Year, right? Where she fell into a coma for 20 years, woke up, discovered there are certain words she couldn't use anymore. Or another film it's a series, Amazon Prime series, check it out, called Paper Girls. Paper Girls. Go check it out. And these bunch of kids, girls, go through some kind of time machine pod thing, and they're jumping through time, going to the future modern days, and they come from the 80s, and they're discovering, especially one particular girl is discovering there's certain things that they can't say anymore because now it is deemed offensive. I really think that's ridiculous. When they say these things, these are just expressions and stuff that we used to say back then when you're just among your friends. We don't mean it like a bad way. It's just the way we were able to speak back then, in the 80s and the 90s. When you're with your high school and elementary school, high school, and you're hanging out with your friends, you're able to say things, the way you talk among your friends, that's all I'm saying. So, but now someone catches wind of a conversation, like an old school conversation with your friends, then it's now suddenly it's against the law. They're trying to make those words unlawful, so I feel that is ridiculous. Anyways, I've talked too long about that, and let's go ahead and take a look at this Witcher 3. Oh my god, I made this too long. This is not cool. Well, anyways, let's get right to it. The Witcher Wild Hunt free next-gen update. I can't wait for this. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt gets a free next-gen update on December 14th. More details and gameplay reveal on Red Streams next week. The long-awaited free next-gen update for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is coming out on December 14th, 2022. Enhanced with the power of next-gen consoles and modern PC hardware in mind, the upcoming update will feature dozens of visual, performance, and technical enhancements, including ray tracing support, faster loading times on consoles, a variety of mods integrated into the experience, oh interesting, and much more. On top of that, we're adding a set of DLCs inspired by Netflix, The Witcher series, such as new weapons and armor to Geralt, and alternative looks for select characters. The next-gen update is free for everyone who already owns any version of the game. For those who don't have the game yet, a dedicated next-gen version, the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, featuring all enhancements, free DLCs, and story expansions, Heart of Stones, and Blood and Wine, will be available for purchase digitally on PlayStation 5. Xbox Series XS, that must be like a new one. I just know Xbox 360, the latest thing I have, and I don't even play it anymore. and PC, with a physical release at a later date. In addition to the next-gen release, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch versions of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will also receive an update featuring numerous additions and improvements, as well as the Netflix Witcher-themed DLCs. Further details, including the release date, will be announced. If you want to learn more, make sure to tune in to Red Streams on our Twitch channel next week for an exclusive look at the next-gen gameplay reveal and details on upcoming changes. See you there. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I really dig Witcher 3. I warmed up to it. My one gripe, kind of a big one, but is I have to play as Geralt. I really wish that I could create my own character, pick to make my character male or female, so I can actually roleplay my creation. But instead I have to play as that dude. That's fine, that's cool, but I don't necessarily want to play as him, but rather play as my character and meet him or have him be my companion. And then to me, I would have preferred that, and to be able to pick my own class. But the world is so beautiful. The story is absolutely top-notch, that you can't help but get absorbed in the world and the story and the multitude of characters that you meet. To me, Skyrim and Elder Scrolls games are still going to be better for me, but that's because it's for those reasons that I just explained. And I've always been an Elder Scrolls fan, for me since Daggerfall, Elder Scrolls 2. And then, of course, I went back and played the first one, and then, of course, everything else that came out. But Witcher 3 is still a solid one, and I'm looking forward to seeing what changes, upgrades, how these upgrades are gonna look, with the ray tracing, and feature dozens of visual and performance and technical enhancements. I look forward to all that. So anyways, yeah, that is it. This went on a lot longer than I thought. I'm still gonna try to find a game that I'm gonna record something, I guess, to fit the Christmas spirit if possible. But in any case, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. And again, I want to reiterate, I am all for the woke stuff. Again, if by woke the definition is like the inclusion and just equality and everything. If I'm getting that definition right, then that's what I'm all for. What I'm not for is it being shoved down our throats and being force-fed when we already get it. To me, it's always been there, the diversity and inclusion. To me, in any case, I've never felt oppressed or anything like that. And I'm not including, the typical things that you encounter some occasional dick in wherever you go, in school or whatever, or like your occasional bully. I'm not including that, because everyone encounters that. White, black, Mexican, Asian, it doesn't matter. And I think that the world has just become too sensitive, that, you can just say one little comment and suddenly it's misconstrued for something racist. Let's look at the days of, insult comedian, hold on now. I just had it and now I forgot it. Hold on, his name is Don Rickles, right? He's dead now, but I almost feel like his brand of humor and comedy stylings would not fly today, and that's just a very sad thing. It's just, he's an insult comedian. Here's some disturbing news too. I've even seen comments down below when with Regis, and interviewing a young Christina Ricci. Now, to me, Regis he's from the old school world. suddenly they're slandering his name. He goes, "Oh yeah, what a pedophile, what a creep. He's Regis Philbin, what Regis and Kathy Lee, because he just said, hey, how about a little kiss? Just like, oh, you're a little adorable, little Christina Ricci. There's nothing pedophile about that. It's when you like, hey kid, hey, from the old school days, how they did in he's from the old world, so that's all that is. And suddenly now everyone is now Regis. Now there was a time in the early days of YouTube. Then I remember it went from the comments of like, oh, how cute or how adorable, or Regis did that. But slowly the comments changed and it turned into something. Do you see what I mean? It turned into something where now he's this, and I don't like that. It's like slandering people's good name when it's just absolutely not true. That's what I'm talking about. How everyone has become ultra and super sensitive, unreasonably sensitive to to everything. So that is all I'm saying. Anyways, I'm gonna end it. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you.